fertility, Yoon unsettles the way we imagine our possessions, interiors, or borders at all. What is the work of desire? What slips away even as we try to name it? Glancing off mythic landscapes, slipping by Homer and Milton, Yoon's poems also thread through, as she puts it, radiant squares of sensation, the body a dichotomy of flesh and blood. At what point does this lacework shift over from intricacy to impossibility, she asks. Yoon's poems, luminous fictions, also capture the sheer force of imagining itself, the slippery, elusive loops of desire. Yoon writes, "It is almost unseemly, this exulting, the maypole the seed has made of its body."
That's Tess Taylor, reviewing Blackacre. It's the newest collection of poems by Monica Yoon. Tess' most recent book is Work and Days.
Just another example of the great reports and conversations and the wonderful things that you hear each and every day right here on All Things Considered on 91.3 WLRN. Caroline Brader-Watts along with Tom Hudson and Andy Wagner. Rounding out this pledge drive, we have probably, we're going to check because we have a lot of phone calls, a lot of things happening right now. We were just at 50,000 left to go, Tom. I'm sure we're under that now. Things are happening very quickly. There's a lot. Believe me, if you want to make that call to 866-247-9576, we got plenty of people who can answer the phone, so don't be deterred. Though even better and maybe easier for you, go to WLRN.org. You can do all those things and get your thank you gift and get entered into the drawing when you go there. And it might be a little bit quicker, but either way, you'll be taken care of.
Yeah, and a couple of things, right? $375. That's a number to think about here. If you spend an hour with All Things Considered at any one time, 15 minutes on a Thursday, 20 minutes here, and 12 minutes there, if that adds up to an hour, that ultimately costs about $375. That's how much each hour of All Things Considered costs WLRN to put it on there, to purchase that programming from NPR. So if you'd like to go home tonight and say at the dinner table, you know what I did today? I bought an hour of All Things Considered. What'd you do with your day? I bought an hour of All Things Considered. That's what I did. And that hour, you can tap into that hour multiple times over the next 12 months with pride. Here's how to do it. Here's how to purchase your hour of All Things Considered. 866-247-9576. You know, sometimes these big numbers that we have, $1 million a year that we spend just with NPR, roughly. It's a huge number, and frankly, it's hard to fathom that number. $375 is the hour that you spend with ATC, All Things Considered. Here's how to feel a piece of that ownership. WLRN.org. Look for the red donate button or the Galapagos banner right on top.
There you go.
That'll lead you there as well, and that is the big giveaway. 7 o'clock tonight to get qualified in order to get your name in the hat for that.
Yeah, a little bit over 2 hours left to get into that drawing. You don't want to miss out on that. You know, so many people want to know how their contribution will be spent. It's a fair question, and it shows you're a good steward of your money. Your dollars help pay for the technology to operate the station. Your dollars help pay for programs. Your dollars help pay for local reporting. If you want to know how your money is being spent, turn on the radio. We have it on right now, but if there's someone near you who goes, I don't believe that, I don't know where this money goes, turn it on. Just turn on WLRN at any given time, 24 hours, any time in the 24-hour period of your day, and you're going to hear how your money is being spent. And it's being spent wisely, it's being spent well, and that's why we ask you to make that contribution right now. Let me do just a quick update here, Tom. We were at 49 left to go, and 49,000. Which was $49.
And this is
very slow
until the end of the pledge drive.
Right.
If we can do this by 7 o'clock tonight, that means pledge-free morning edition on a Friday. There's very few things that can improve a Friday other than the fact that it's just a Friday. But a pledge-free morning edition, pledge-free Friday, it's done with. It's done with today at 7 o'clock. If we can raise how much money?
Now we're closing in on 48,000
there we
right
go.
now.
All right. So talking about, the spending of the money, where those dollars go, let me tell you a couple of things that's coming up for WLRN.
Yes, you were telling us.
You know, the president is in town. There's this thing happening that begins on Monday and stretches for 2 weeks into the first Tuesday after the first Monday of November. Early voting begins in South Florida on Monday, October 24th. That's this coming Monday. The president is in town. Secretary Clinton has traveled to the area, will likely come back. Donald Trump has traveled to the area, will likely come back. surrogates have been here. We have the staff, thanks to the generosity from this community, to go to those events and not only report on what's being said, but put it into a local context. What does it mean for the local voter? You know, these big national issues are important, no doubt about it. But how they affect local communities is what's important as well, and that's what we try to do. So that's happening. We've also got a brand new series of poll dating coming out tomorrow morning that we're going to release, looking at the Miami-Dade County mayoral race, looking at who Miami voters think is most responsible for addressing the Zika problem. We're looking also at what are the most important local issues in Miami-Dade County. Some of the results may surprise you. 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, we're going to release those results. And then our colleague, Rowan Margarity, just back from Haiti. We're going to do an entire hour on Haiti Monday morning at 9 a.m.
Oh, wow.
And that
That's
connection
awesome.
to South Florida. Those are the kind of investments that we're able to do because of the generosity that we received from throughout South Florida. Here's how to get involved here in the afternoon. 866-247-9576. You want to get into that Galapagos 7-night cruise for 2 Galapagos Islands, courtesy of Eco Ventura Hotel, international airfare, all there. Here is, look for that red donate button online. Turn red to green at WLRN.org. And thanks for your support.
Support for NPR comes from NPR member stations and from CFP, Certified Financial Planner Professionals, committed to providing financial planning in clients' best interest, from taxes and investments to saving for college and planning for retirement. More at letsmakeaplan.org. From Red Hat, offering a portfolio of enterprise-ready open-source solutions that run up, down, and throughout the stacks of companies in the Fortune 500. Learn more at redhat.com. Red Hat. Tried, tested, trusted. From Epson, offering cartridge-free printing, EcoTank, their refillable ink tank printer. EcoTank comes with up to 2 years of ink for printing up to 8,000 pages. Learn more at epson.com/ecotank. And from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation at gatesfoundation.org.
Considered on that HD1 Miami, Fort Lauderdale, 91.5 WKWL, HD1 West 19.7 WFLP, HD2 West Palm Beach, 1.9 and beyond for Palm Beaches.
Today and tomorrow, a team of cancer specialists and researchers at Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center work to discover, develop, and deliver the most precise treatments for your specific breast cancer to lead to better outcomes and more hope. Learn more at sylvester.org. The Volent Center invites you to take a tour, receive a gift, and learn more about their Life Enrichment program for the active senior, Life Enrichment Plus for those with early onset cognitive issues, low or no cost door-to-door transportation, their senior daycare program providing physical, social, and cognitive care serving Boca del Rey and Boynton Beach. No cost caregiver support groups, individual counseling, nutritious meals, and children's daycare are available. More at volentcenter.com.
The time is 5 o'clock.
Whoever's behind says, hey, you can't pay attention to the polls. But right now, if the election were tomorrow, he'd lose.
What voters in the battleground state of North Carolina thought about last night's debate.
It's Thursday, October 20th, and this is All Things Considered from NPR News.
I'm Kelly McEvers.
And I'm Robert Siegel. Coming up, some of those voters think the election will be rigged, as Donald Trump has claimed. Is that possible?
When people say there's vote rigging, it's really saying that there's illegal activity which is organized to distort the outcome, and that's not the case.
And a self-proclaimed nasty gal responds to Trump's debate comment.
Plus, a new study on whether gunshot wounds should be treated on-site or in the emergency room.
For the past 30 years, this has been one of the great questions. How much advanced life support is beneficial for victims of penetrating trauma?
Those stories coming up after this news. Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Janine Herbst. Donald Trump says he will accept the results of the election next month if he wins. But at a rally in Ohio today, Trump said he will reserve his right to file a legal challenge in the case of, quote, questionable results.
I was asked a question about whether I would agree in advance to concede the results on election night if for some reason we should lose, which we're not going to lose.
Meanwhile, both Trump and Hillary Clinton will sit at the same table at the Alfred E. Smith Memorial Foundation dinner in New York City tonight. The Pentagon says an American service member has been killed in northern Iraq. It's the first U.S. death in the operation that began earlier this week to retake the city of Mosul from Islamic State fighters. NPR's Tom Bowman has more.
The Pentagon says a service member died from wounds sustained from an improvised explosive device known as an IED. The Pentagon statement provided few details. ISIS fighters have been using car and truck bombs to slow the advance to Mosul, and they also bury bombs in the roadways. American troops are not directly involved in combat, Pentagon officials say, but they point out the Americans are still in harm's way, assisting and advising Iraqi and Kurdish troops close to the front lines. Military officials say more than 100 U.S. Special Operations Forces are with those troops, working in small groups and advising on everything from artillery support and airstrikes to intelligence and logistics. Tom Bowman, NPR News, Washington.
The Obama administration says it's baffled over statements made by the president of the Philippines that his nation would separate from the United States. As NPR's Jackie Northam reports, it's just the latest in a string of anti-American remarks made by the Philippine president.
During a visit to Beijing, President Rodrigo Duterte announced the Philippines would separate from the U.S. and align itself more closely with China. He said that meant severing decades of military and economic ties. State Department spokesman John Kirby says Duterte's statements are inexplicably at odds with the very close relationship the U.S. has with the Philippines.
We are going to be seeking an explanation of exactly what the President meant when he talked about separation from the U.S. It's not clear to us exactly what that means.
Kirby says Duterte has used similar bombastic rhetoric in the past, only to later walk back from his position. Jackie Northam, NPR News, Washington.
More Americans are applying for unemployment benefits. The Labor Department says initial claims rose 13,000 last week to a seasonally adjusted 260,000. It's the highest level in 5 weeks. Wall Street was lower by the closing bell. The Dow down 40 points to end at 18,162. The Nasdaq fell 4 points to end at 5241, and the S&P 500 down 2 points, ending at 2141. This is NPR News from Washington.
From the WLRN studios at the Miami Herald, I'm Charles Perez. The latest portion of the Sunshine State Survey is out and focuses on education, transportation, and health. A key finding was that more than half of Floridians surveyed support trained staff being allowed to carry guns at public schools. WUSF went to downtown Tampa during the lunch hour to talk to people.
I feel if they're trained, then they should be able to carry it, because we have untrained people carrying weapons and bringing them into school, shooting people.
I think somebody should be there because you can't have a cop everywhere all the time.
The less firearms out there, the better. Teachers aren't infallible, and they have tempers, and some of them are dealing with very difficult children, and I think it's just a recipe for disaster.
The survey is conducted by University of South Florida pollsters and the Nielsen research firm. The next set of survey results is scheduled to be released on Tuesday, October 25th. That portion will focus on trust in government, state leadership, and livability in Florida. This is WLRN Miami Herald News. I'm Charles Perez.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include ADT Security, helping to protect families and homes for over 140 years. Learn more at ADT.com. And the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation at macfound.org.
Tom, Emerson described success as to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people, and to leave the world a better place. Pretty nice, huh?
That sounds pretty good.
Sounds
yeah.
awful good to me.
Sign me up.
We hope that the programs on WLRN bring humor to your life, provide intellectual stimulation, and ultimately make the world a better place for everyone in our community. If we've been successful for you, consider making a financial donation right now. Caroline Brader-Watts, along with Tom Hudson and Andy Wagner, hoping you will help ring out the fall pledge campaign successfully. Boy, are we doing great today. $46,000 left to go. Can we raise that in 2 hours? Can we be pledge free as of 7 o'clock? It sounds like it sounds like a soap opera.
Can we? That's right. $23,000 an hour. That's what we need to do. $23,000 an hour for the next 2 hours.
Right.
Pledge free on Friday.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That is the proposition here, and here's how to get us there. 866-247-9576, WLRN.org.
And you will also be
Siegel in Washington. Donald Trump has doubled down on the stunning suggestion he made at last night's debate that he might not accept the outcome of the election. Speaking today in Ohio, he said he would honor the result with one caveat.
I will totally accept the results of this great and historic presidential election if I win.
If he wins. The Republican candidate says he reserves the right to contest the election if it doesn't go his way.
Trump's repeated claims of vote rigging over the last several weeks have played well with his base. For some, though, this latest declaration goes too far. Our co-host, Ari Shapiro, watched last night's debate with a group of Trump supporters in rural North Carolina.
The town of Robbinsville sits in a dimple of the Great Smoky Mountains. A road known as the Tail of the Dragon winds away from here, whipping and switching through spectacular vistas up to the Tennessee border. This is a dry county, so there aren't any bars or nightclubs that people go to after dark. At our debate watching party, people brought plenty of non-alcoholic provisions.
I'm going to try some of that. I'm not even hungry, but I'm going to try.
This part of the county loves to defy the establishment. The local Congressman, Mark Meadows, filed the motion to oust House Speaker John Boehner. So Donald Trump's bull in a china shop trait is part of what people here like about the candidate. The fact that he's alienated so many people is a plus. Steve Odom owns a trucking company.
I like Trump's new slogan, "Drain the Swamp," because I am anti-establishment. I don't agree with these guys and the positions they've taken.
He's talking about Republican leaders. In North Carolina, early voting started today. Polls in the state are almost tied, and Trump lags by about 7 points nationally. So in this room, some people were nervous heading into the debate. Lowell Crisp is a retired school principal.
Whoever's behind says, hey, you can't pay attention to the polls. But right now, if the election were tomorrow, he'd lose.
Early on, this group applauded Trump's answers on the Supreme Court, abortion, and immigration.
But we have some bad hombres here, and we're going to get them out.
Deb Turquan is retired from the school district.
Well, the other debates, like on a 1 to 10, some of them were 3, one was 6, this one's 10.
More than an hour into the debate, Trump made his most controversial remark of the night, refusing to say whether he'll accept the results of the election.
I will look at it at the time. I'm not looking at anything now. I'll look at it at the time.
Voter Lowell Crisp shook his head.
We're going to accept the election, whatever that outcome is.
What do you think of Donald Trump saying, we'll wait and see, I'll leave you in suspense?
Well, I wish he hadn't said that. I think that's one mistake he made tonight.
Here in North Carolina, a court recently struck down the state's voter ID law. Many Republicans worry that could open the door to voter fraud, even though there's no evidence of widespread voter fraud in the U.S. 75-year-old Ruth Engel says for the first time in her life, she doesn't trust the integrity of an American election.
You show ID for everything but to vote. Now that's suspect.
And so if on November 9th they say that Hillary Clinton is the new president, are you going to believe it?
No, I'll never believe it if she wins.
So how does that make you feel about the American democracy if you can't trust the outcome of the election?
Let me tell you, I'm so sad.
It's pathetic.
Donald Trump's complaints.
Hello?
What time do you think you'll be there?
5:30?
Okay, just second process. An estimate.
That's an estimate. I don't know how bad it really is.
So you have the map on, and the map tells you when you'll get there?
Yeah, it says 5:30.
Okay.
Ah! Ah! Yeah? Hi. Hi.
She's just waving his hand.
I can't see your hand waving.
He doesn't know. Just saying hi to you with your hand waving. I thought it was on the phone, baby.
Joy just texted me. Text me when you get here. Did you text her or whatever?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. All right, bye.
Bye.
But amongst Trump supporters, it jumps to 2/3. I mean, that's pretty remarkable. And the thing is that the belief in fraud has really been increasing over the years, ever since Florida in 2000.
Now, how common are actual incidents of voter fraud?
They're not the problem. The Brennan Center, for example, did one of the most thorough studies, and they found voter impersonation was more or less non-existent. That's when you vote a couple of times at the polls, which is part of what Donald Trump is saying is the problem of American elections. Doesn't mean to say there aren't problems in the system, but it's really not about what happens in the polling booth or when people go to vote. That's not where the problems arise.
Donald Trump claims that the race is rigged for several reasons, including, as he says, the fact that Hillary Clinton is allowed to run, despite doing things he thinks should disqualify her. But when he or his surrogates talk about fraud at the polls, they invoke stories of what we used to call the graveyard vote. Didn't big city political machines once manipulate vote results in America? And are we confident that those days are gone?
Absolutely. So in Chicago, it was vote early, vote often. We've had a history of that, and vote buying as well. There's all sorts of problems there. But those are really a long time ago, and they're historical. They're not the actual practices of what goes on today. So when people say there's vote rigging, that's a strong charge. It's really saying that there's illegal activity which is organized to distort the outcome, and that's not the case.
There are other aspects of our electoral system that people criticize, the superdelegate system in the primary season, the gerrymandering of districts, ballot access for third-party candidates. Is it really surprising that a large share of our electorate consider the system unfair?
No, I think those are some real criticisms. And when, again, we ask experts, the real problem is money in the media. In other words, it's the amount of money which is being spent in the campaign, which people don't trust because of the way that large donors or other groups can influence the process through dark money. And then media. People often feel that the media is unfair, is imbalanced, and issues of gerrymandering are of long-standing history in America. And indeed, when we compare American elections and their integrity with other countries around the world, and we ask experts to evaluate them, in fact, America doesn't come out very well. America ranks 52nd out of 153 countries worldwide, and it's the worst of all the democracies.
If, in fact, we have an election night in which the loser refuses to say, I lost fair and square and I congratulate the winner, but what's the damage?
So it has long-term damage. Where people don't trust the election, they tend not to vote so much, so turnout goes down. They have less confidence in elected institutions like Congress, and as you know, it's already at one of the lowest levels. And ultimately, it also damages confidence and faith in the performance of democracy in America. Now, America is an established democracy, but in countries which are emerging and becoming democracies, if you have some allegations from sore losers that the outcome is rigged or fraudulent, you have major instability. Think of Kenya, where there were thousands of people who were killed and displaced in 2007. Cases like Bangladesh, where there's tremendous violence every election. Thailand, where there was a military coup d'etat. Nigeria, where there were ethnic violence. So you can see that in more fragile democracies, the consequences of having problems in your elections really spreads throughout the system. That's not going to be the case in America. But even minor cases of protests that don't go through the courts, or any sort of individuals who resort to any sort of violence, can create fundamental tensions that will make things worse rather than better.
Pippa Norris, thank you very much for talking with us about it.
Thank you very much, Robert.
Pippa Norris, political scientist with the Harvard Kennedy School of Government and also director of the Electoral Integrity Project.
Okay, one more story out of last night's debate. This one about the afterlife of 4 words interjected by Donald Trump.
My Social Security payroll contribution will go up, as will Donald's, assuming he can't figure out how to get out of it. But what we want to do is to replenish the Social Security Trust Fund by making
such a nasty woman. It wasn't long before that insult was reclaimed as a rallying cry for Clinton supporters who felt like Trump was taking a dig at women.
Hashtag I'm a nasty woman made the rounds on Twitter. So did Nasty Women Vote.
One of those tweeting was Sophia Amoruso. She's something of an authority on nasty. Her clothing company is called Nasty Gal. She's written a memoir with advice for women entrepreneurs. She says she wasn't surprised Trump's insult backfired.
Little did he know that the word nasty is one that, I don't know, women have been having a lot of fun with for a long time. From the time that Betty Davis wrote the album Nasty Gal and said she was a nasty gal. Like any word, it really only belongs to the person who uses it until someone steals it back and uses it in a different way.
Amoruso says she thinks the insult resonated with women who felt marginalized because of their gender.
She says she views nasty woman as a badge of honor. And Amoruso agrees with Trump on one question. Is Clinton a nasty woman?
Yeah, Hillary's a nasty woman in like the best way possible. And I think like Hillary's a nasty woman in that she stands by her beliefs. She keeps showing up. I don't know, she's got like a real hairstyle. Like she tries.
Besides the hashtags, there are already Nasty Woman t-shirts for sale. There's a URL, we can't say it on the air, but it's the PG-13 version of NastyWomenGetThingsDone.com.
And one more bit of nasty news. Spotify tweeted today that streams of the Janet Jackson song Nasty are up by 250%.
You're listening to All Things Considered from NPR News.
Sing it, Janet. We're here for you. Eh? And this is All Things Considered on 91.3 WLRN, South Florida's NPR news station. Caroline Brader-Watts along with Andy Wagner and Tom Hudson. Oh, I'm almost out of breath, Tom, because we're just doing so well today.
It's like that marathon I told you about. It's like that. We got to end strong, and we are ending strong. This is huge. We needed to do $23,000 worth of business this hour, $23,000 worth of business next hour in order to end the pledge drive, end it early. And so we can return full morning edition to all the listeners tomorrow morning. And we are getting, making good progress. That's right. $42,000 to go. We've got an hour and 45 minutes essentially to do it. Couple of things now. One, the Galapagos trip, right? Seven night cruise for two to the Galapagos Islands, courtesy of EcoVentura Hotel, international airfare included. That drawing, it closes down at 7 o'clock tonight. So you got to do your business before 7 o'clock tonight. That's the first thing. Second thing, all the thank you gifts that are available online are still there as well. Our gratitude to you for helping continue to support public media. And then the third thing is that big goal. The big prize here is Pledge Free Friday. If we make those numbers. Have three words ever sounded so sweet on a Thursday?
I think
Pledge
that would
Free
be awesome.
Friday.
Yes.
All right. How do we do all that? How do we get that accomplished?
All you have to do, and this is the cool part, you know, we say this 42,000. You're not personally responsible for that. You're just responsible for your part of it, whatever that is. $5 a month, $10 a month. If you can be a Circle of Friends member at $100 a month, that's great. You make that decision. Call us at 866-247-9576 or go to WLRN.org.
Support for NPR comes from NPR member stations and from Cigna, a global health service company dedicated to helping people improve their health, well-being, and sense of security. More information is available at Cigna.com. From Rackspace, a managed cloud company with a commitment to innovation and a team of over 3,000 cloud engineers. Rackspace, your clouds, our expertise. Learn more at rackspace.com/expertise. And from the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, helping NPR advance journalistic excellence in the digital age.
It's All Things Considered on 91.3 WLRN. We are live and local, and we're South Florida's only NPR news source. Thank you for joining us.
We're funded by WLRN members and by Dr. Angelo Goofs, specializing in complications after prostate cancer treatment, including bladder control problems and erectile dysfunction using the latest technology. Information at 954-362-2720.
Dave Grusin, Arturo Sandoval, New York Voices, Tom Scott, Cyril M.A., Will Downing, the Henry Mancini Institute Orchestra, and more come together for the Jazz Roots season opening night concert on Friday, November 4th at the Arch Center. This star-studded lineup will honor the legendary Jazz Roots and GRP Records co-founder, Larry Rosen. To Larry with Love, a star-studded tribute to Larry Rosen on Friday, November 4th. Tickets at archcenter.org.
And this is All Things Considered on 91.3 WLRN, South Florida's NPR news station. Caroline Brader-Watts back with you with Tom Hudson and Andy Wagner. Now we are at $41,000 left to raise hopefully by 7 p.m. this evening. That's how quickly it happens, folks. We've got a lot of folks calling us at 866-247-9576. Lots of folks going to our website, WLRN.org. We promise it will be a quick and painless process, about 2 minutes of your time. You can get a thank you gift there. While you're at it, you'll get your name automatically entered into our drawing, which definitely ends tonight at 7, so don't miss out on that. You've got a little over an hour and a half to get your name in for the 7-night cruise for 2 to the Galapagos Islands, courtesy of EcoVentura. Don't miss out on that opportunity, and don't miss out on your being able to say, hey, I rode in on that white horse at the waning hours of the drive. I made a difference. I allowed them to be pledge free on Friday. Wouldn't that be exciting?
That's right, and do something for yourself by being pledge free on Friday. Here's what you need to have kind of collected. You have your thoughts a little bit collected. Know the kind of level that you're able to afford here to give. Is it that $5 a month? Maybe it's $10 a month. Maybe you're at the Circle of Friends membership level, $100 a month, $1,200. Maybe it's been a pretty good year for you, a very good year for you, and you can give one of those transformational one-time gifts, a number with a comma in it, for instance. So you've got that in mind. Now, what you need to do is you need to get a credit card ready, a debit card ready, bank account ready, some kind of financial a place where you're going to draw the funds from. You have all that set, and you call the phone number, you go online, and as you said, 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes. That could be, you can have it being done in the same time that you would be waiting at a red light in South Florida. Right. It takes that little time. And here's how you do it. 866-247-9576. We got plenty of operators. The phones are not going to be, you're not going to hear a busy signal, so we got plenty of capacity there. And then you can also go online at WLRN.org. Just click on that red donate button. Look for the donate button on our Facebook page. You go right there, and you've got all the transactional details there. I think probably you're going to spend more time maybe deciding which thank you gift do you want to take versus the amount of time it takes to actually make the donation.
Yeah, and everything's listed at WLRN.org. Boy, we are now at $40,000 and counting. We're almost at $39,000, but we're currently standing at $40,000 left to go to wrap this up successfully. Folks, we could do this in an hour and a half. With the way the calls are coming in, the way the hits on the website are coming in, we could conceivably wrap this all up by 7 p.m. We're also going to be wrapping up the drawing for the Galapagos trip from EcoVentura at 7 p.m. That's a definite, so you don't want to miss out on that. You don't want to miss out on getting your name entered into that drawing. So do it now. As Tom said, there's plenty of operators answering the phone, tons of bandwidth at WLRN.org. No worries there at all.
I'm going to think like we're in the fourth quarter. Right.
All right. Football.
Tomorrow is overtime. We don't want to go to overtime.
No.
We can. We know it's there, but we don't want to do it. We want to end the game in regulation. That means tonight at 7 o'clock. We're going to cross that goal line with your help. All right. How about that metaphor? Okay?
I love it.